get ready for an amazing interview. Guys, Charlotte's going to be talking all about making those decisions on when you're working with your family member, if it's time for them to get more care beyond what you can offer. So take the time to really listen to this portion of the interview. Again, it's going to be a great interview, a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, Charlotte's amazing. And jam-packed. This is a powerhouse with information. So get papers and pens ready, guys, because this interview is going to knock your socks off. Think Sarah is a community and a support network for people who care for others, whether they are loved ones, clients, or residents. Welcome to Think Sarah's Meet in the Middle. Have you ever, within the 8 to 10 people that you've cared for, have you ever had to utilize home health care or a nursing home type care for them?
Both actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My mother, when she had fallen and broken her hip, so she went in the hospital. After that, she did some rehab in a nursing home for a little while, and then when she came home, they did do some home care with her, just to make sure that she was still, meeting her milestones and where she needed to be. And then I have had my uncle actually right now is in a nursing home for rehab as well.
That's
so do I like nursing homes? Not always necessarily.
No.
Just because I know they can be really short staffed and they may not be fully getting the care that we might be able to give at home.
Right.
But sometimes it's necessary in a situation. So, I've had family members in all those situations.
Okay, wonderful. So you have a lot of knowledge of that emotional end of it. Did it help putting someone in a long-term care facility or utilizing home health care? Does it help you sympathize with, in your professional side, with families that are going through putting their loved one in a facility? Like you can talk to the family and go, listen, I've been where you're at.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I always try to relate to my families no matter what situation I'm working in, what facility I'm in, what type of facility I'm in. I try to empathize with them, sympathize with them, and let them know, hey, I've been where you are. But also not to be like, well, me. Because sometimes they're like, oh, well, I was trying to express myself to you, and now it's all, well, you had this and you had that. So there's that fine line that you really have to be careful to cross.
Right.
So let them know, hey, I've been where you are. These are what I did to kind of get through it. If these can help you.
Okay.
Or if you need other resources, we're here to help you.
Right.
And sometimes they're like, oh, wow. They don't feel so alone when you let them know that you've experienced the same thing, because sometimes they think, oh, well, you're a nurse. You don't go through anything.
Right.
No,
honey. Well, and that's that's the thing too, is they feel like they're the only people on the planet when we've got millions of people
so
in
many
long-term
people.
care.
Yeah. There's more than not, I feel like, with that have to do like caregiving, especially now. 2020, we're in 2026. I think caregiving now has just exploded compared to years ago.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there behind that.
Yeah. And do you have one piece of advice that you can pull out that you could give to a family member getting ready to maybe put their loved one into some form of care?
Don't feel bad if you have to do it. A lot of people, I've been there. I felt guilty when my mom had to go in there for rehab, but she needed more rehab than she could get at home initially. So don't feel bad, because sometimes life gets to lifing and there's these things that you have to do. But also don't forget about them when they're in there. Don't.
Amen. Amen.
Don't just put them in there and think, oh, well, they have staff. Because I've been in that situation too, where they look forward to certain staff coming in because they know they're going to be acknowledged. So, but yeah, don't feel guilty about it. Sometimes you may have to, because, your life is busy. And they might need that particular care that you can't give at home, even with home care.
Right.
So just kind of, be a little easier on yourself.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was awesome. How difficult
And I know you've got that caring and that nursing background,
Hmm.
and you started real early in life. How difficult is it for you to do those activities of daily living, such as bathing and dressing and changing of briefs, with a loved one?
It's not hard for me. I think because I'm not a shy person.
Mm-hmm.
And so for them, it might be, like I had touched on earlier when my dad's mom moved in with him, he would change her brief with his eyes closed with his head turned because he didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to see his mom's butt,
Right.
things like that. And then, so for me, I'm just like, you're somebody that I love, of course I'm going to do that. I'm not looking even, day to day. I'm not looking at what's there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing a service for you.
Yeah.
So, and I want you to feel comfortable because I am your family
Right.
member. So, and it, it can be a slippery slope because they're like, "Hi, your family. I don't want you seeing my private
Right.
parts or having to clean me up."
Mm-hmm.
They feel embarrassed sometimes.
Right.
And I just let them know like, "Hey, it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
you
And if
know."
they could get on a commode, maybe even getting like a bidet and
Yes.
having that do the cleaning,
Yes.
and therefore you're not doing the wiping and making
Right. Still
sure.
still independence, as independent as possible, and
Right.
just helping where they need to be helped. But still promoting that independence regardless,
Exactly.
even the slightest things.
Do you have any advice for families? They're looking down the barrel of seeing
Mhm.
that their dad is needing a little more,
Mhm.
and they're realizing eventually we're going to get to this point where we're going to
Yes.
need full care. Do you have any advice for keeping their father's dignity? I think you just basically answered that question.
Yeah, let them make choices. If they're still able to make choices, let them make choices. Let them, maybe just do standby. Just be close to them while they're doing these activities so they can still have that independence, but still you're there for safety.
Mm-hmm.
And just let them know it's like we're not trying to take anything from you,
Right.
but it's just more so for you to be safe and so things don't get worse.
Right.
So you don't have a fall or something like that, and then things are gonna kind of tumble downhill from there. So,
Right. And for people like your dad,
hmm.
who just can't. That
Hmm.
there's like this is the step farther that I
Hmm.
can't go. In your opinion, is there any issue with utilizing home health care, home help, or a long term care facility so that they could do those things and that you could just be that son or that daughter?
Not at all. I mean, like I said, utilize your resources the best that you can,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody is busy. So, sometimes it may be better for a family member to be in a rehab facility to get that more one-on-one instruction with therapy to learn how to do their motor skills and their activities of daily living. So never feel ashamed or like you're um less than
Right.
because you're doing these things,
Right.
because mentally you still have to find your space, your
Mm-hmm.
positive space as well for
Right.
for your own self, even if
Right.
you are, because I felt bad when my mom was in there for therapy, but I'm like, it's so rigorous, we can't do this at home.
No.
And she didn't, at that point she wasn't well enough to do therapy with home care at home,
Right.
so we had to get her there first
Mm-hmm.
and then do that. So definitely utilize the resources, they're there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll kind of lighten the load a little bit.
And is there anything a family member could do to prepare themselves, looking at, okay, this is going to happen? We're at this point. I'm now thinking of moving dad in with
Hmm.
me. What can they do to kind of mentally prepare?
Just realize that your life is going to change.
Yeah.
And just kind of making those smaller changes within the household or within your schedule,
Mm-hmm.
because there may be days where you're gonna miss a day at work
Yeah.
because dad's sick or mom's sick or something like that. Utilize the resources that are out here. There's multiple, I don't know if we can say names or not, but for right now, we'll just say there's different agencies for elderly that you can utilize as well. Department
Every.
of Human Services, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's food programs out here. So utilize what you can to make
Mm-hmm.
it a little bit easier on yourself
Mm-hmm.
so you don't burn yourself out.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. Yeah, Meals on Wheels is amazing. Things like that. I
Yes.
want to have them on to talk to them as well.
Nice.
So, and I think you mentioned too that communication between the loved one that you'll be caring for and yourself, and like setting those ground rules too.
Yes.
Like, what are you comfortable with? What do you want from me? What are your expectations? And these are my expectations. Just kind of like just have that, not that business tone, but just kind of like that loving conversation.
You have to have, there has to be some structure there. There has to be some ground rules there because,
Yes.
again, my mom yelled at me all the time, like, leave me alone. You're not the doctor, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But this is what you need to be doing because this is what therapy said. So I'm just kind of reiterating what they said to make you better. Things like, so sometimes family members will try to play you a little bit and be like, well, you're just family. So, things like that. But so you kind of have to find that fine line not to cross over, to still give them their dignity and respect, but also to let them know, hey, this is what we're doing.
Right. And to realize her personality too. Your mother was very strong.
She was, yes. She got that from my grandma.
She was not a wilting flower.
No.
She was more like your grandmother.
Yeah.
So, and we talked just briefly about this too, but sometimes when caring for loved ones, those loved ones can feel like you're taking away from them.
Yes.
So they might take that out on you unwillingly, perhaps. Perhaps not. Depends on the family member. What kind of cues do you look for when you're caring for those 8 to 10 loved ones where you're like, all right, they really are grateful? What silent, slight things do you see that you're like, all right, they do see what I'm doing?
Again, I don't take anything to heart because I know that mentally they're struggling with these issues themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit to where I think I'm more of a person that can kind of dust it off my shoulders a little easier and know that it's not coming from a place of hate or disrespect. But I will also let them know, like, hey, we're not, you're not going to be nasty.
Today's not that day.
Today is not the day. And then usually kind of when I, show them or tell them, hey, this is how it's going to be, then it's kind of like, you're right. Thank you. Like, I do appreciate you. So you just have to realize what they're going through mentally, because sometimes family doesn't want to tell you how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Again, they don't want to feel like they're a burden. So they're going to keep quiet and they don't want to talk to anybody. And they feel like if I don't say anything, it'll go away. But that's not what's going to happen. It'll fester and get worse. So
There'll be those little moments though where you're like, oh, they're grateful. Or,
oh yes, for sure, for sure.
How has caring for loved ones positively impacted your life?
Seeing somebody that I'm caring for, like, even if it's the smallest thing, whether it was something they couldn't do before and that they can do now, even in different settings that I've worked in, it makes me happy to see that. I'm very much a supportive person, and a big cheerleader. So when I do, have a client who's having therapy, and even if they're like, oh, well, last week I couldn't do this, or 2 weeks ago, and now I'm like, great, this, I just cheer them on and give them that positivity. And so for that makes me happy.
Yeah.
When I see somebody reaching goals, that they've been trying to do, or, just making sure that they're still on track, that just I'm just such a person that likes to see other people succeed, that makes my heart smile. As cheesy as that might sound.
No,
but it's
not
true.
at all. Not at all. Is there a question or a topic that was not brought up in regards to caring for loved ones that you feel that should be talked about?
I think probably a topic may be to make sure as a caregiver you have your time for you. And I mean, we touched on it a little bit. But again, utilize your resources and make time for you, because sometimes it can be a full-time job on top of a full-time job.
Yep.
So definitely, find your time to scream in that pillow.
Yeah.
Or to take that hot bath, and tune the world out. Again, utilizing resources that you might have through the city or the state that you live in, things like that. Just anything that can make it a little bit easier for you.
That's awesome. Thank you. I want to thank you
Yeah.
for your time talking
Thank
about this.
you. Yeah, for sure. Anytime. Thank
Awesome.
you for having me.
Okay.
Was that not incredible? My goodness, Charlotte, I cannot thank you enough. Her time with me and sharing her information with you has been so impactful. Please let Charlotte know that you appreciate her. She really needs to hear from you. Any questions, or if you want to hear more on a certain subject, please feel free to mention it in the comments so that Charlotte knows, and maybe we can bring her back. I really want to bring her back. All right, guys, make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss any more of Charlotte's interview. And know that more interviews are coming from industry specialists, people who are completely knowledgeable and can give us information and resources as caregivers we can use. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will talk to you soon. The next video with Charlotte, we'll talk about professionalism side of it and working in long-term care and other forms of care. Talk to you soon. Blessings.